Ra speaks. See through all eyes. Hear through all ears. Be the voice. Be a bee. Pollinate. Feel the beauty. See the beauty. Be the beauty. Wrapped in supreme happiness with maximum efficiency, minimum effort. The highest good of all concerned. The law of one. Shine, you diamonds, shine. Welcome to Diamonds Network, Raw Speaks series. This is Raw Speaks number 6 today on September 16th, 2015. Sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and listen to some extraordinary information that will hit you straight in the depth of your heart of love. Love conquers all. Welcome, this is Elizabeth Diamond, and we have Chris Jacobs. Welcome, Chris. How are you today?
Oh, good. How you doing, Elizabeth?
I'm great. Thank you, Chris. Just a few announcements before we get started. We do have Raw Speaks up there, 6 shows, so if you haven't listened to them, go back and listen to all of them and pass them to your friends, please, far and wide, all around the world. And also included in there, if you look on the YouTube channel, there are Raw Speaks segments that Chris has uploaded. Be sure to listen to those segments, too. That'll get you thinking. And so be sure the YouTube channel links, both Diamond Network channel links of YouTube's are on the Diamonds blog. That's the easiest way to find all the Diamonds Network shows, and that's Diamonds with an S forever, 31.blogspot.com. Just want to let you update on a few shows we've done recently. Monday's show with Cynthia and all of us, we really talked about faith, increasing our faith in these drastic times of changing in our body and our DNA, tools that will help you, and they're very deep. So be sure to listen to that. That's reference number 281 pound on the recorded line, and if you look for that on YouTube. Also, Candy Shop Candy did a show on her channel within the Diamonds Network with an extraordinary interview with Christopher Stephen Jacobs and Julian Wells. Now, I've had Julian Wells on the Diamonds show before, extraordinary interviews. He bilocates, and he's in contact with the observation ship, yes, up in the sky, a Palladian observation ship that observes us, and there's many other species on that ship, and he is in contact with others. And Chris is in contact with many, many, many different races and knows a lot and a wealth of information. So to get these two together was extraordinary, and look forward to more of those. You'll find that uploaded to the YouTube channel, the interview with Chris and Julian Wells. And then also yesterday on our new show, Voices from the Alternative World, we continued with the subject, painting and increasing your vision even brighter into what we are going into in the Golden Age and how people will be working together and grouping together with love. Love conquers all. We're talking about the hippie times and boots on the ground stories, literally experienced this. It's not like the mainstream media painted. You want to hear this show with Cynthia as a guest and the show before, Voices of an Alternative World. It will really encourage you to run the race within in this transition and going into the Golden Age. So look forward to them. And also, I want to, Raw Speaks was started. We're following Corey and David from Cosmic Disclosure, and Corey being a secret space program worker, and he's bringing a whistleblower, bringing things out, and we're bringing detail of that out. Also, I really want to mention there's another one out there, another whistleblower, and he's a really nice man. I've been following him since the beginning, and he also kind of comes from the same background as Corey Good. And his name is Randy Kramer. Let me just read a little bit. Randy Kramer has come out via orders about his 17 years duty on Mars. Now, his commander-in-chief asked him to do this in the military. And how they made so many clones of him to use when the bad guys decapitated him. Yes. And how they could heal him from that in only 10 days' time. But that of 300 in his unit, only 12 of them have been saved after 17 years of war. And so check out Randy Kramer. I've listened to the very first shows on Dr. Alfred Weber's site. The first interview with Randy and the second with Dr. Alfred are the really good inspiration for even going into this transitioning and increasing your vision for the times to come in the golden age. So be sure to visit that subject. So let's get on with today's Raw Speaks number 6. Let's start out with the prayer of one. We just call in the divine flame of living, gracious, awesome love. We call in collective consciousness. We call in all our galactic beings in any time and space on Earth and any other planet in this universe and beyond that want to engage today. We call in Ra. And thank you all for coming. We call in our higher selves, me and Chris, and all of those who are listening. We call in our spiritual, mental, physical, emotional bodies, me and Chris, and all of those who are listening. And thank you all for coming, because we are all one. And when one is harmed, all are harmed. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and Chris is, and all of us are, and I am one with all that there is, I ask that only the highest good of all concerned happen in this engagement today and every day, in all engagements and every day. Thank you that this is done. So be it, so it is. And so with that, Chris, well, I guess we can start with the subject you wanted to bring up today, and we'll go from there.
All right. What I wanted to bring up was this came to light very recently with a client. I'm not going to name the client or clients right now, but there is a this may not seem like it has to do with Ra to start with. I'm going to consult the Ra after I'm done explaining the synopsis here about what happened. It was Sunday, Monday, and a little bit of Tuesday. I had been in discussions with a couple of clients about a camp that was out in California, ironically named Happy Camp, and they said they had been there years ago and had various experiences where they would declare their allegiance to the light, let's say, and so some of the more negative forces that were out there did not like this. Well, what happened was, these Draco that were out there caused problems with them. I'm not going to go into their personal lives, but let's just say that this particular Happy Camp is a front for something much more sinister. They pointed out there were these blonde women out there that I discovered they were a type of Draco. Other people call them vampires. And they all kind of look like clones of each other, which I believe them to be. Well, the reason I am bringing this up is after I was done with the whole mess with Happy Camp and helping these two people protect themselves and get their affairs in order, that evening I was contacted by a Draco, which, that does happen quite frequently because they try to stop me from doing what I'm doing with the Ra and various other groups. And I could see him very clearly. I could see the orange flashing vertical eye slit. And I asked, and I will read this particular channeling off to you, the listeners. And I will read another one I got from this particular reptilian as of this morning. And then we will bring through the Ra. And okay, I will begin. I said, "Who is there, please?" I heard nothing but silence. I could still see him. And then I said, "I believe that I asked, 'Who is there, please?'" And then this Draco yelled at me. He said, "Ask nicer." I said, "All right. I apologize. To whom am I speaking to, please?" He says, "I am who I am. My true nature subject to scrutiny by you." I said, "Yes, because your kind has done so much damage to mine." He says, "So has yours to mine." Well, let's call a truce. What do you say to that? There was nothing but silence. I said, "Peace is all I want from your people. Just stop. Stop with the games. Stop with the slaughter of people. Just stop. Our people can make peace, true lasting peace. Just do it." And then he goes, "Not as long as the Cabal Accords still stand." I said, "Then break them then." And he goes, "Why?" "So peace can happen. You are following the wrong people. Show yourselves to all of humanity, please. Make peace and end this horrible addiction." And he goes, "Why?" "Because it can only end badly for both of our peoples if you don't." And I said, "Please." And there was a silence. And I said, "Just end this, please. I don't wish to strike out at your people anymore, but I will defend myself and others so long as I live." And he goes, "So you are saying you want peace, yet you lash out at us for our nature? Humph, you hypocrite." And I said, "No, defense, justice. We, meaning human beings, as well as ghosts, are your equals, not food." And he goes, "So you say, but how are my people any different, let's say your earth crocodile? It hunts, it survives." I said, "Yes, so do humans, but there is a better way than this. Don't your people have replication technology too?" He goes, "Yes, however, we seldom need to use it." I said, "Well, use it more. Replicate what you need to survive. Eat to live. Don't live to eat. So you say, human, so you say." And he goes, "Yes, so about that peace." And he goes, "My people know no other way." I said, "Then learn. Here is this." And I hand him the Law of One symbol. And he goes, "Why?" I said, "Because you and I are equals, neither higher or lower than any other. We are all one." And he says, "Yes, I see. Well," then he sighs, and he says, "Well, my people do not see you humans as equals, but I, on the other hand, do." And he starts to cry. "So I will make this peace that you speak of, human." Then he sighs, "However, I cannot promise the same of the rest of my kind." "All right, good enough for you, human?" I said, "Good enough for me. What is your name?" He goes, My name is Sirna Theus, and I am a Draco soldier no longer. Peace to you, my brother." And I said, "Peace to you, my brother. Bless you, Christopher Stephen Jacobs." And I said, "Bless you, Sirna Theus." And he starts to cry, and then he waves, and then he departs. And then Simeon, my guide, came to me. He said, "I saw what you did there for Sirna Theus. Well done, my oldest and dearest of friends. Well done indeed. He will one day grow to be a very powerful ally to you. Choose peace always, no matter who or what or where or why. You have made us all proud this day, Christopher Stephen Jacobs. We are also proud to call you one of our own." And then now I will go into the channeling that I received this morning from Sirna Theus. And he goes, Sirna Theus here, my new and interesting young friend. I must tell you of my homeworld of Draconis. It is large, roughly 5 of your Earths. It may look dark in appearance, but what it lacks, what it lacks in sheer sunlight, it gains in the number of my people who now inhabit it. 10,000 trillion strong. So in your travels, dear one, if you should happen upon a world of dingy blues, grays, blacks, and some yellows, that is my beautiful home planet of Draconis. See it? It shimmers in the night of space. Swampy, yet truly alive. And when I say alive, sorry, it was sloppy handwriting. When I say alive, I mean teeming with life and not necessarily a Gaia force such as your Earth has. Haha. To learn more about my homeworld of Draconis, you have to To learn more about my homeworld of Draconis, you have to but ask. The handwriting was sloppy. But ask, and I will come to you to discuss in more detail. Peace be to you, new friend and star brother. We are one, truly and forever so. Bye now. Hee hee. And that's where Sirna Theus left. And the reason I bring this up is because using the law of one, and also the oneness teachings of the Ra group, a peace accord has now been struck with at least some of the draconian species, and some of them are breaking the Cabal Accords that was struck many years ago with our people and theirs to perform abductions and harvest energy and a lot of other nefarious junk that's going on.
And let me just add, I believe that was struck with the draconians and the people in the world. I'm thinking that may be the treaties that everybody knows about, the treaties that government officials all around the world signed in with these ETs, draconian ETs. And I just want to say, Chris, so far, this is beautiful. I mean, this is like peace and justice working within, not just on Earth, but the working of peace and justice from humans, you, into the galactic spiritual world. This is just beautiful. And there's more to come, guys, so keep going, Chris.
Okay. Now I will bring through the Ra group and see what they have to say on this subject. And Raul Tim is here with me, along with more of the avians. And Sirna Theus is also here.
Namaste, fellows.
Yeah, he's in the background. He's just here watching. And before I go into the channeling, I wanted to say I've encountered several Draco as of this morning, but they pretty much left me alone. They have not engaged in any, trying to bring violent thoughts into my head, or they haven't engaged in any attacks at all. They just walk on by. They've pretty much, for the most part, completely ignored me, and so that's at least a good common ground at the moment for some of these Draco. But the one that has been very active and talked to me is Sirna Theus.
Chris, for a moment, why don't you bring in that part where what led you to this engagement and how you engaged with this draconian? Bring in that part where, you do these readings and cleanings on everybody, and you just got sick and tired of them bugging you all the time, like a pain in the butt. Bring that little 2-minute or 3-minute story in there.
Okay, yeah. When I do readings on people, before I bring in the Rob, when I do readings on people, I am always finding draconian influences in people. Attachments. Demons and draconians are one and the same. I'm always finding them in people's homes. Always finding them harvesting energy off of people. Always finding them affecting marriages, relationships, causing deep depression, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, all these horrible disorders. and I got sick of finding it all the time, and I kind of went on the warpath, on the offensive, and started to say, enough. And the more I rammed horns with them, the more they rammed horns with me. And it got to the point to where it was constant bombardment. Even though I was holding my own, I started to feel more like a soldier on the battlefield than a peacemaker. And that's not where I wanted to take it. Even my guides were saying, this is not your war. Be a peacemaker, not a soldier. And so I went about it a little differently. I took Tyler's advice and began to ignore more, and Jerry Will's advice, and began to ignore them more. And the more I ignored them, they left me alone. So and I did make an agreement and say, if I find you harming anybody, I will go after you, but I will leave it at that. I won't go after your nesting sites, your strongholds, your colonies. I will leave them pretty much alone, so long as you leave humans alone and don't follow the Cabal Accords. And they look like they're agreeing to that for the most part. So it's pretty much a white flag has been put up between the two. And it's one of those agree to disagree sort of situations, to where nobody's attacking anybody, and it's not necessarily a Mexican standoff. It's more of, like I said, agree to disagree. And that's where there's at least a starting point there. And so now I'm going to go into what Raul Tim is here to say, and then we'll see if Sirna Theus comes through.
Chris, I just want to add to what you just said. That what Chris did was an action for us to see and hear of the same kind of example that people, every single person, every single government group, every single whatever group should be moving towards, for peace and no war, for love and not hate, for bonding together, unity and not separation. Basically unwinding what the programmers wound in us, and we unwind it by every little action that we do, like Chris did, in all of our unique ways. Okay, thanks.
All right. Okay, Raul, Tim, and the Ra group are here, and they're saying, we are Ra, and we see now our message of oneness has indeed been heard and absorbed by these two factions, if you will, between the humans and the ones you call the Draconians. These two species have the ability to make true, everlasting peace, but only if they so wish it. Now, I am here, Ra, Raul Tim, here with this one that speaks for us, Christopher Stephen Jacobs, and this one, Sirna Theus of Draconis. They both are the examples now of this new accord that has been signed, not only with each other, but with the Ra group itself. Draconius is a planet usually of unending darkness. That is not so anymore. From this day forth, Draconis has now been declared a planet of unending light and balance. To all those listening, I am Ra, Raul Tim, and I am saying now that this being here, Sirna Theus of Draconis, has now been initiated or integrated, if you will, into the Ra group. He is one of the first of his kind to do so. I am wishing now that all Draconians everywhere, please go with the Alliance, which you humans call the Blue Avians, which some Draconians have. But Sirna Theus here also, like those others, and even some archons, truly understands the law of one. And for this, he is now of Ra, and will guide the rest of you as such. So now, we part these words as one with our new brother, Sirna Theus. He wishes to speak now as one of us. His true name now, huh?
Could I just ask?
I'm sorry, I have to keep going.
Go on.
His true name now is not just Sirna Theus. He is now Ra'ul Sirna Theus of Draconis. He will now speak to humankind as one of us. And now it's passing over to Sirna Theus. And I can see him. He's much brighter than he was before. His scales are lighter. He actually has feathers around his neck now. And I was wondering what the Ra group was doing to him while I was sitting here. It looks like they were integrating him into the energy. And I can see his perspective is changing. His energy is changing. And he is now, okay, now he wants to speak. He goes, I am of Ra. My former independent name was Sirna Theus. I am now Ra'ul Sirna Theus of the Ra Group Collective Consciousness. My people, I urge you, as a brother and child of Draconis, please end this war, end this accord with the Cabal. Please do not do their bidding anymore. Please do not engage them with dark magic, dark words, or dark actions. It can only strive to harm us in the end. My brothers of dark ways, fellow reptilians, Draco, all, please hear this. I announce now out into the system to all remaining dark Draconian that are addicted to this drug you call a lesser species. This is not so. We do not need them for sustenance. We do not need them for fear, anger, anguish, pain, and horrors unimaginable. We are not this way. We were not born for this. Please, I beg of all of you, do not do this any longer. I am Ra'ul Sirna Theus, and I now say to you that you all are loved deeply. I am now stepping back. Blessed be.
Wow, Chris. Just for the record, I have one question for Ra and Sirna Theus. I'm with the understanding that within Earth, between humans and a galactic race, an extraterrestrial race, ET race, alien race, that through this whole story is the Draconian group, and is the Draconian group the biggest group that came and for the not good of all programmed humans on Earth? Are the Draconians the biggest group that are involved in this big programming situation that we're unwinding from? Just curious. I think that's what I understand.
Yeah, they are saying, Sirna Theus, he's speaking now, he goes, yes, the reptilians, or lizard men, as you call them, are indeed the largest threat, quote unquote, to humanity. Now, with this oneness, they will no longer be the threat, but humanity must perceive them as such, and forgiveness must reign supreme. Then love can also reign supreme. I believe that answers your question.
So reptilians are the same as Draconians or Dracos, is that correct?
Yes, they are one and the same.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank you. I want to say namaste to both of you. Namaste to you, Chris. I want to say, Chris, wise, deep, genius move. Because you moved with this group and interceding for the humans group because you're a human yourself with defense, peace, and justice and good for all. And it's, everybody's talking about the cabal and fight the cabal or do something different than the cabal in the human sense on Earth, boots on the ground. So we're working on the cabal humans on the ground. And now you, Chris, had the sensitivity to move to the other group too, which are the Dracos, the Reptilians, and talk them, peace and justice, engaging with the law of one. Look what you've done, Chris. Oh, I'm so proud of you. And I'm so proud of you, Sirna Theus and Raw Group, for coming and just uniting together. This is the beginning. One small step for mankind, one small step for galactic kind. And that step will take many, many more awesome steps of peace, justice. Love conquers all. The law of one reigns. Thank you, all three of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
They are they're waving, and now they looks like Sirna Theus is bowing out, and it looks like Raoul Tem is still here, but it looks like the rest of them are departing at the moment. So it looks like he's waiting. It looks like Raoul Tem is waiting for any other questions you have.
Okay. Is there anything on your heart, Raoul Tem, besides this subject that you, like Chris, had the wise move to do this with the Draconians and work with you? Is there anything else, it doesn't have to pertain to this kind of thing, that you want to have on your heart to speak to the world? Because Diamond's Network goes all around the world, besides the world, other times, dimensions, and spaces, and other planets. So let's keep working together. What do you say, Mr. Ra? Namaste.
All right, he's coming down to me, and he's sitting next to me, and he's saying, I am Ra Ultem, and I say to you, your world keeps spinning day after day in the concept you see as time. Time is not what you think. It is more spherical and eternal in nature, and does not exist as you have been led to believe. This system of a linear clock, as you would put it, is not correct. The way time is told is by what you humans call astrology. Astrology is forever. Astrology tells the positions of all celestial bodies and their electrical energy and magnetic influences upon your kind, as well as trillions of others. This is how we tell time in not only your universe and not only the multiverse, but the omniverse as a whole. Say you have your Earth, and say you have another Earth, and yet another Earth. They all exist as one in the exact same space-time. This is true. But they also exert energy forces on one another. When one is damaged, let's say, it exerts forces on the rest of the omniverse. So, to repair this clock, as you would say, sometimes one Earth must be allowed to perish while another one rises in its place. This is not destruction, as you would think. This is rebirth. This is the way things are done in the omniverse. So when you hear stories of Earths that suffer destruction at the hands of what you humans would call a vengeful god, this is not so. This is just nature. This is the way of things. My name is Raoul Tem, and I give blessings to each and every member of humanity, no matter what position in the omniverse you occupy. Blessed be. And now he's backing off now.
So is he saying? Should we pray for these energies, I guess, so to speak, these earths, kind of like we did for the energies of fourth and fifth to be at the highest good of all concerned last Raw show? Is that what he's saying, you think?
Yes. Yeah, he's saying about the balance of the omniverse, where, say, if a person has a broken limb and they have to have it reset or fixed in some way, and it has to heal, sometimes one Earth in the entire multiverse has to be allowed to wither away so the rest don't suffer. And then from that withering away, it comes back to life. I've witnessed this myself with an Earth that was known as Sigatoris. And Sigatoris was a world of war. And it was an Earth, but it was just called by a different name. And everybody and everything died. Well, then Shiva came to me and explained that that world had to perish to be reborn. I'm not saying that's happening here. It's quite the opposite. It happened there, so it did not have to happen here, so that a perfect possible future could be born within the omniverse. And that's what Raoul Tem was getting at, the true nature of how the omniverse operates.
And you just explained, so when we pray this prayer, you just explained more clearly what will go on when we pray this prayer. So what can we name it? The healing of, when I put it in the prayer one, the healing of the omniverse planets, or what do I... The
healing of the true omniverse. You could do it that way.
And the omniverse is everything that's created, everything.
Yes.
All universes and everything.
All dimensions, yes.
Do you want to pray for the omniverse now and all in the future for this prayer request? What do you think?
Yeah, we could do that.
The healing of the omniverse, right? Okay, so we call in the divine flame of supreme love that conquers all. We call in collective consciousness of all of the omniverses now and in the future, and why not in the past. We call you in now. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. We call in your spiritual, mental, physical, emotional bodies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We call in all of our brothers and sisters, even humans on the earth that can help in this situation, all beings in any time, dimension, space that can help. Call in the 360 angels that Cynthia talks about that are assigned to each degree around the 360 degrees of each earth. We call in the angels that are assigned to degrees around other planets, all other planets in this omniverse, in future omniverses, and in the past omniverses. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. We just say we are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. So therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, I ask that only the highest good of all concerned, wrapped in supreme happiness, with maximum efficiency, minimum effort, I ask that only the highest good of all concerned happen for the healing of the entire omniverse, now, in the past, and in the future. And I ask for similar situations to happen only in the highest good of all concerned. So be it. So it is. Thank you that this is done, and this is a test. What are you seeing, Chris?
Well, what I see is Earths that were on the verge of exploding. It's like they parted and separated and they fitted back together again like a lock. And I am seeing this effect going through the entire omniverse to every world, every Earth that was out of balance, and to every Earth that had war going on it at the time. It stops, lets the world rebirth as it's supposed to, and I'm seeing every Earth, I'm seeing flashes of different histories and different timelines and everything. Everything that was averted here happened somewhere else, and then so on and so forth, which is physics. But the nature of those physics can be changed. Time can be rewritten, as Doctor Who would say. So I am seeing this entire omniverse changing, and it is going into a swirl and going out into every dimension, and looks like it's reattuning to the entire omniverse is reattuning to a higher vibration. So in the coming days, people will feel this more so than ever. I've been made aware people will even see the event horizon of fifth density. What I mean by event horizon is the edge of a different density. Like you're right on the cusp of going to something else. People will begin seeing fifth density more and more. And from this will expedite that process.
Wow. So I propose not just seeing fifth density in the air or on the ground, but even maybe running into other beings that are in another dimension that is on Earth, being able to see and engage with those fifth dimensional beings. Would you say?
Oh yes, people will they'll start to see them at first, like beings like, say, gnomes, leprechauns, beings of that nature. People will see them briefly, and they'll vanish. But then eventually, a dialogue will form more with them, like beings, say, like Sasquatch, for instance. People will see them more and more in the coming days. You know, a lot of the prophecies out there say, "Oh, that's a signal for end times." That's not true. It's a signal for rebirth, like what Raoul Tim was saying. It may seem like it's destruction, but it is not.
So what you just described as us running into these fifth dimensional different beings and seeing the fifth dimensional energies, it's kind of like what we're doing on the Monday night shows and galactizing. It's just building a relationship. You got to start somewhere. Maybe somebody appears in your house really quick as a ghost and disappears, and then the desires in your heart well up, and you decide, hey, to keep talking with them or ask them to come and teach you more, stuff like that, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yes, always engage and never show fear towards them, even if they act improper. There will be beings, even in fifth density, that act with a little bit of impropriety. So you have to show no fear towards them, send them light, and they should be able to reattune to that density, because some of those beings are used to even higher densities, and they're having to go down to a lower one to help people, and sometimes that harms them. So send them that same law of one, the same love energy that you would to anyone else at that moment.
Just talk to them like, they're a person, even if you met them for the first time walking down the street. Just use this as a point, what Chris did with the Dracos. It doesn't have to be, just speak out of your heart. Use the law of one. The law of one. We said it twice here, and they're all on the Diamonds Network. Use the law of one with no fear, and just speak to them like you would a mother or a father, if they don't know the law of one, and stuff like that. Yeah. So to end this show, Chris, I want to ask one more question to somebody, and I just want to prelude everybody for Raw Speaks 7. One of the part of the show I'd like to bring in is call in, talk with our brothers and sisters with Atlantis and Mu, and tie that into the golden age we're in now. Kind of like voices from the alternative world, where we're hearing the hippie stories of the hippies and the real accounts that's going on, and how that really will increase your vision on what's going on now. So I wanted to call in a being or beings that could enlighten us a little bit more of, after we prayed this prayer for healing the omniverse because of Ra. Thank you so much. And I want to call in the beings that can just give us a little bit more insight of what we're about to experience, just like you brought in. Let's just see what our galactic brothers and sisters want to as so we can get more prepared. The more prepared, the more knowledge you get.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge equals understanding. Knowledge plus understanding equals wisdom. What is wisdom? Action in confidence and courage. So the more I like to prepare, not in a perfect person world, but the more you're prepared, the less fear, false evidence appearing real, and the more confidence and courage you will have, and it'll just be you writing your life with maximum efficiency, minimum effort in supreme happiness. You believe it? You believe we can walk in that? I do. So, is there anybody there, Chris?
Yes, there was one person that showed up, and this is Leprechaun Brimble.
Hi, Brimble. I love you. I've been thinking about you these last couple of days. Thank you. Namaste.
And he just took off his hat, and he did a little bow, and he's saying he is of fifth density, fifth and sixth densities, and at the moment, and he is saying to prepare going into fifth density, the best thing to do right now is to be in, let's see what he's saying, be in stillness. And in that stillness, you will find forgiveness towards anyone who has wronged you in the past. And from that forgiveness, you will find love. And this does not mean that you must tolerate, say, somebody bullying you, like how the Draco were doing. This does not mean you do not self. This is not what he's saying. Always shield yourself. Always protect yourself. But do not strike out at them in a more vengeful way. This is a way to ensure your entry, quote unquote, into fifth density. The Earth itself is going through a major overhaul, as you humans would say. You say, and in this overhaul, people must be on their A game, quote unquote. And what he means by A game is in forgiveness, love, and stillness always. And now he is pointing upward, and he's showing me an energy line that's passing through my room here. And he's saying this is a vein that is connected to fifth density. And I can see it's like the edge or event horizon of a almost, I don't want to say a wormhole, that's incorrect. Like the edge, just the edge of another veil or something to that effect. And he's showing me, even though these veins go through each and every person, each and every celestial body and everything in creation, it is also stretching from, now we are in fourth density and stretching into fifth density. And it's literally like a hand grabbing the energy and sweeping little by little our energy into fifth density. It's very gradual. And I can even feel the fluctuation while we're here. I myself have been to fifth density. I will go into that at a different time. But it will. If we were to shoot into fifth density too quickly, it would seem like a dream when it is not. So a very slow progression is the way to do it, so people don't get driven insane, and so that they have to deal with their problems that they have on a slow and balanced basis. And this is the point that Brimble here came to make.
Yes, and I can cooperate with that. If it goes too fast, it'll feel like a real dream, because it's already feeling dreamy, but it's slowed down enough so we don't completely feel like it's a full dream. But anyway, that's a long subject. Thank you, Brimble. I just wanted to add, it's important going into fifth density to work on your stillness. And I add to that, work on your stillness in your physical body, your physical life every day, stillness in your spiritual, in your mental, and in your emotional. And keep working for, if you're getting frustrated with one of those parts of your bodies, your physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, ask for help. Ask your guides. bring in your guides and ask from the bottom of your heart, and then say the law of one for the highest good of all concerned for all that, to help forgive and love and become one with everybody. And I just wanted to ask Brimble, or if he wanted to come back, just to give us a few, like for him, he's in fifth density. So how could what would it look like? Like somebody's taking a nature hike and all of a sudden a leprechaun shows up? I mean, we're going to literally see them, or we'll see the leprechaun coming out of a tree or something and say hi. I mean, how could, just a few instances of that, leprechaun or other beings, if he knows. Or
at first, they'll appear like flashes out of the corner of your eye. You'll just think you see somebody there. This happened to a friend of mine in her garden, where she found a gnome outside, and that was there for like less than a second's time. And people will begin to see this phasing in and out of fifth and fourth densities. And and he's saying that yes, people will indeed see them. You go out into the woods or anywhere where there is, like, say, a leprechaun. There are leprechaun villages out there, gnome colonies and stuff like that. So people will begin to see their homes. They're like, I call them Yoda huts, because they're very small little huts that are in trees. There are other beings, like I said, gnomes. There's a species called the Grimpa. There are actual gremlins out there, I found out. All of these beings, such as, like, say, the Menehune of Hawaii, for instance. I've run into them. Bigfoot, run into them. People are going to be seeing them more and more because these beings want to gain a dialogue with humans. So they will intentionally cross that veil and greet humans, be like the greeter at the door to greet humans into fifth density. Even if it doesn't seem like that, of course, people will be afraid at first, but that fear will pass over time. And
absolutely, because there's good kinds of fear. You're going to be fear at first, but just use your tools, the law of one, and calm yourself, stillness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
And now it looks like Brimble is taking a bow, and it looks like he is now leaving.
I'm bowing. Namaste, Brimble. And just like me recently, when I'm laying down meditating, I've seen these sparks. It's like a star. It's like a bright star if you're looking up in the sky. It comes in my view, it flashes really bright and then goes, and more than once. So like Chris has said and others have said too, it starts in your dream time or in your meditation time. So if you're seeing those now, get ready and prepare. And don't get frustrated if you're not seeing them, because you're unique. It may happen to you in a different way. But, your guides will give you clues, and they'll build you up to it. And you won't even know that until you look back at that process of maybe meeting a leprechaun face-to-face. You'll look at the back of your process in the last month or two and see that your guides were already preparing you for this meetup. So you're not going to get pushed into it like, go, do it. You're going to get prepared. And even if you don't see it, we don't mostly see it until we look back, that our galactic friends are helping you. And if you listen to the Diamonds Network, you'll know. Hopefully you'll know that you know that you know by now. Our galactic friends are helping us. What a phenomenal session we had with Raw Speaks, Chris. What did you say?
Oh yes, it's a phenomenal. They seem to get better and better each time we do it.
And I just want to thank you again for what you're doing and what your engagement with the Draconian. So until next time, Raw Speaks will probably be next week. We'll do a show. Anything you want to say before we leave today, Chris?
I believe they covered it.
They covered it. Okay, well, love you guys all, and we just wish the highest good for all concerned, for you, for every situation in your life, for you going into your stillness, spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, wrapped in supreme happiness with maximum efficiency, minimum effort. Keep building that courage and confidence and faith, you guys, and we'll see you on the other side. Keep shining, Diamonds. Love you.
Are you looking for healing or a change in your life to help you enjoy it more fully? You might benefit from a galactic energy reading and clearing from Chris Jacobs. Chris will work with you on a soul level to clear unseen negative influences, implants, programs, contracts, and energetic blocks. Chris Jacobs is a gifted energy healer. Contact him today at ChristopherStephenJacobs@gmail.com.